Todd Rosenbluth. Hedged ETFs have received a lot of ink and assets because of the dollar's ascent or the euro and yen's decline, however you want to say it. But not all hedged ETFs are alike, right?
Yeah, so we've actually seen about half of the money that's gone into international equity ETFs has gone into these newer currency hedge products from the WisdomTrees, the iShares, and Deutsche Banks. But when we at S&P Capital IQ, we look at them, they're not all the same, as you're right. The underlying holdings are different.
All right, let's talk about the WisdomTree Europe Hedged Equity ETF. This is the HEDJ. It's having a great year as the euro has fallen. So tell me, what's different about this one? Do you like it or not?
So we have a little bit of concerns at S&P Capital IQ. What's different about it is not only is it hedged against the strength in the U.S. dollar, but it also is focused on companies that have most of their revenues coming from outside of the Eurozone. What that has done is actually overladen the portfolio with consumer staple stocks, and when we look at those stocks at S&P, we find many of those stocks to be overvalued and risky from a fundamental standpoint. So we think it's taking too big a bet on a sector that isn't poised to do very well versus other ETFs.
Well, you also have the iShares HEZU. So this is a European hedged ETF. And I think there's also the DBEZ, which is a Deutsche Bank play. I think those two are kind of similar. So tell me about these.
Yeah, so these are similar. What they're doing is tracking the MSCI index, which is more diversified, has more exposure to financial services companies, and less exposure to consumer staples. It is, of course, also hedged against the dollar strength or the weakness in the euro, so you benefit from that, but in a more diversified way. So that's why we like these products from iShares and Deutsche Bank a little bit better than the WisdomTree products. We think more diversification, the better.
And WisdomTree just came out with the EUSC. This is a small cap European hedged play. But one would think that because small cap companies, generally it's fairly domestic. There's not a lot of exporting involved. You wouldn't need that whole hedging aspect so much.
Yeah, well, we think you need the hedging perhaps if the dollar continues to strengthen and the euro weakens. You want to hedge out that exposure. There's not a lot of options that are out there that's like the WisdomTree product, so it's worth investors taking a look at. But again, understanding the sector exposure, what's inside the portfolio, and not just buying it because it's hedged. Not all hedged products are the same.
All right, thanks a lot, Todd.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you for watching The Street.